what we're practicing as we connect mind, body, and heart is today santosha. So santosha is one of the niyamas of yoga. The niyamas are one of the 8 limbs of yoga, and santosha is a practice. So it's not some state we get to and we're just there. It's something we have to continually come to. Many people translate santosha as contentment, but I want us for today to think about it as okay. So you practice santosha when things are really great and you say, okay, this is how it is now. Instead of thinking, oh, it could be some other way, we just practice santosha by saying, okay, this is how it is now. We also practice santosha when things are hard. We practice santosha when things are hard by saying, okay, this is how things are now. Find a seat that feels comfortable for you. If a seat's not working this morning, just come right onto your back and close your eyes. Bring your hands together in front of your heart. And acknowledge, okay, this is how things are now. Make a commitment to yourself to try to practice santosha, being in the moment, accepting, acknowledging the moment as we go through our poses, pose by pose. On an exhale, release your hands down and then gently open your eyes. And we'll get moving. We'll start in a child's pose. If you want to follow along with the playlist for today, it's on Spotify. The playlist for today is called Virtual Yoga 4/9. So you can start with that and come into a child's pose. In your child's pose, widen the knees out, maybe a little bit more than you normally would, and stretch the arms a little bit farther forward. Lift your head up a little bit. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Release through your mouth. One more time. Big inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Settle into the pose. Maybe this is a pose that feels great for you. Maybe not so great. But just practice saying to yourself, okay, this is how things are now. Put your fingertips on the mat and lift your palms away from the mat. So you dome the palms up. Lift the armpits away from the mat. Keep the armpits lifted and then think about taking the chest a little bit closer to the mat. Opening across the chest, working into the upper back. And then release the palms back down. Walk your hands over to the right. So the right hand will be off the mat, and then place the left palm on top of the right hand and interweave the fingers of the left hand into the webbing of the right hand. Pull back through the left hip and lengthen out through the left side body. And then inhale, release. Walk your hands to the middle. As you exhale, walk the left hand off the mat, place the right palm on top, work your right fingers into the webbing between the fingers on the left hand, and then sit back over into the right hip, pulling back through the right hip, getting a stretch through the right side body. And then inhale, release back to the middle. Next inhale, come up to hands and knees. Exhale to cat pose, pull the belly up, round the back, open between the shoulder blades, and then inhale, cow pose, front of the body stretches as you look forward. And then come into neutral. From here, we're going to stand on our knees. So if you want to place something under your knees, you can. Walk your hands back and bring your hands up to your hips. We're going to take the right leg out to the right. The right toes point straight ahead. This is called gate pose or Parigasana. Take your right palm to the right thigh. Take your left arm up overhead. Deep breath in here. And as you exhale, arc over to the right. And feel that deep stretch through the left side. Maybe even pull the left shoulder back a little bit. Maybe take your gaze up past your left hand. And then inhale, lift up, bring your arms out to a T. We're preparing to go to the other side. So take a breath in. As you exhale, slowly tip over. Use your core strength so you don't crash down onto your left hand, but you gently lower the left hand to the ground. Bring the right bicep right over your ear. As you inhale, take the right arm back behind you and down to your hip. Exhale, bring it forward and around. 2 more circles like this. Inhale, takes your arm back. Exhale, brings it forward and around. 1 more full rotation here. Just noticing if there's a part of the rotation that's more difficult or easier. And then take your hand back behind you. Gently lift up your foot. And then bend your knee, reach back. You may be able to grab your foot here. If you don't quite make the bind, you can use a strap, a towel, anything nearby. Push your foot back, take your head back, and open up across the front body. And then exhale, release. Take that right foot back out to the right, lower it to the floor, and then inhale, lift back up. Hands to your hips, bring your right knee down to the mat. And now we'll take Parigasana with the left leg out to the left. Whole foot on the floor, toes pointing ahead. Left palm touches down onto the left leg. Right arm stretches up. Inhale, get long. Exhale, arc over to the left. Try not to fold forward too much, but think about pulling back through your shoulder, maybe taking your gaze up towards your hand. And then inhale, lift up, so your arms are at a T. Exhale, tip over to the right, slowly with control. And then bring that left bicep right alongside your ear, palm facing down. 3 times we rotate the arm back. So inhale, take the arm back behind you, down by your hip. Exhale, forward and over the ear. 2 more rotations. Move with the rhythm of your breath. After that 3rd one, take your left arm back behind you, lift the left foot up, bend your knee, reach back, maybe hand touches foot, maybe not. Take a couple of breaths to pull your heel in towards your hip, stretching across the quad. And then as you exhale, push your foot away, open up your chest, take your head back, and then gently release your foot. Lower it down to the mat. Bring your hand, lift up, hands to the hips, and then lower your knee back down, and then hands down onto the mat, back to all 4s. 1 more time, exhale, cat pose, and inhale, cow pose, and then right up to downward dog. Tuck the toes under, shift the hips back. Take a couple of breaths in your downward dog to move around, to adjust your body, to allow the whole back body to get a feeling of openness. So if you're mainly feeling the backs of the legs, bend those knees a little bit so you can get an openness through your back. Walk your feet to the top of your mat. And we'll take a few breaths in a standing forward bend. Hold on to your elbows, fold over. We'll breathe together here 3 times. Big inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, deepest breath in. Exhale, let it all out. Bring your hands to your hips, and as you inhale, rise up to stand upright. Bring your hands to your heart. Now would be a good time to start Ujjayi breath, that toning in the throat. It will remind you of our commitment to ourselves today to practice Santosha. Okay, this is how it is right now. Inhale, take your arms up. Exhale, fold over your legs. Inhale, lengthen forward halfway. Exhale, downward dog. Hands root into the front of the mat. Feet touch down at the back of the mat. Inhale, come into plank pose. Core is strong here. Exhale, lower, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra pose. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Bring your feet to the top of your mat. Fold over your legs. And then inhale, rise up. Touch the palms overhead, exhale, hands to your heart. That's Surya Namaskar A we just completed. We'll use that as a base for our flows as we go along. Moving with your breath, noticing each pose, the ones that take you high, the ones that take you low, being okay with where you are. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, float down. Inhale, stretch forward. And you take your vinyasa here, planting your hands, stepping back to downward dog or plank, lowering, inhaling into your back bend, cobra or upward dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg back and up behind you. Bend your knee and twist open. Get length into that right side body. Stretch it long. Right hand is pushing into the floor. Right foot is reaching in the opposite direction. Inhale, stretch your leg back behind you. Exhale, lunge your right foot to the front of your mat. High crescent pose. The back heel will stay lifted as you sweep your arms forward and up. So normally in high crescent, the palms face each other. For this pose, we're going to turn the palms to face forward. Stay charged up in the back leg. Take a breath in. As you exhale, back bend here. Inhale, come back up. On an exhale, bow forward over your front leg. Hands come forward, down towards the floor, and then press the palms up to the ceiling. Inhale, lift back up. Take a back bend here at the top. 2 more times. Exhale. Float over the front leg, float the palms up to the sky. Inhale, lift back up. Exhale, float down, palms lift up. Inhale, lift up, back leg stays charged. Make the back bend a little bit bigger here. And then inhale, come just upright. Sweep your arms out to the sides, interlace your fingers. Turn your back heel down to the ground so the whole foot's on the floor. Roll the shoulders back. Exhale to humble warrior. Fold inside the front leg. Bring the arms away from your back. Let your head root down towards the floor. So maybe your head touches. For most of us, probably not. But let your head be heavy. Let the muscles around the neck relax here as you fold into humble warrior. Bring your left hand down to the mat. Right hand will stay on your right hip. We're gonna turn around to the right so that all the toes go to the right. You turn the right toes out to the right. You get on the outer edge of your back foot, and then bring your right arm over your ear, so bicep near the ear. Push into your left hand and the outer edge of your left foot. Lift that left hip away from the ground. And then as you exhale, lower the hip down towards the ground, arc the hand back towards the back of your mat. Inhale, lift the arm up, lift the hip up, bicep near the ear. Exhale, hand takes that big rainbow arc, lower down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down. This is your last time on the side to lift up. Bring your hand down to the ground. Step back to plank pose. From plank, lower chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Bring your feet to the top of your mat. Fold over your legs. And then inhale, rise up. Touch the palms together. Exhale, hands to your heart. Take a moment here in Tadasana to notice how you're feeling, to be okay with where you are, to be okay with that flow on that side, no matter how it felt for you. And now we'll go to the second side. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, foot down. Inhale, lengthen out. It's time for your vinyasa. Plant your hands, plant your feet, flow through however it works for you. Find your breath in downward dog. Inhale, left leg back and up behind you. Bend your knee and twist open. As you breathe here, invite an openness into that side body, getting a little bit longer. Good. Inhale, stretch your leg back. Use your core to plant your left foot to the top of your mat. And then inhale, high crescent pose. Back heel is lifted. It takes some balance to hold yourself here. The front leg will stay charged because of the shape it's in, but keep the back leg really working. That'll help with the balance. Turn your palms to face forward. Inhale, lift up. As you exhale, a little back bend right here. Inhale, lift back up. Now we flow. Exhale, bow over the front leg. Press the palms up to the sky. Inhale, lift back up. Find a back bend right at the top. 2 more. Exhale. And inhale. Be with the back bend. Okay. Be with the forward bend. Okay. Inhale, lift up. A back bend that's deeper here. Open up. And then on your inhale, just lift your torso upright. Turn your palms out, bring your hands down and behind your back, interlace your fingers, spin the back heel to the mat, roll the shoulders back, forward fold, humble warrior, dive inside the front leg, bring your hands away from your back, maybe bob your head around a little bit here, loosening up through those muscles. And now bring your left hand to your left hip, right hand down to the ground. Turn all your toes to the left. So you're on the outer edge of the back foot. Take the top arm right over your ear. Push down into your hand, push down into your outer foot. Lift the hip up away from the ground. Big breath in here as you exhale. Lower the hip towards the ground. Reach your hand back behind you. Inhale, lift up. Hip lifts, arm comes over your ear. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down. You're going to lift up one more time. Take that hand down to the ground. Step back to plank pose. And then take your mini flow from here. And we'll land in downward dog when we're done. Connecting breath and movement. Beautiful. From downward dog, bring your feet to the top of your mat. And then inhale, rise up to stand, touch your palms. Exhale, hands to your heart. So here, we're going to stand on the right foot, bend the right knee, cross the left ankle over. Try to keep your ankle really firm here instead of letting it relax. Put a lot of energy into the foot. As you exhale, lower the hips a little bit more and pull the chest back. Okay, this is how things are now. Maybe you love this pose. Maybe you're struggling with the balance or the hip opener or the back bend, but we find a way to practice being okay no matter what this means for us. We're going to go right from here into dancer pose. Inhale, stand up tall. Take your left foot behind you, left hand or strap reaches back to grab it. Right arm goes up into the air. Take a breath in here. As you exhale, hinge forward at your hip. Push your foot back into your hand. Opening up here. And then we'll land in a chair pose. Lower your left foot down to meet the right. Both arms up overhead. And then finally, hands to the ground. Forward bend, straighten the legs. Inhale, chest stretches forward. Exhale, starts your vinyasa. Hands at the front, feet at the back. You can always skip these vinyasas if they're feeling too intense, if they're taking you out of your practice instead of taking you more deeply into your practice. From downward dog, inhale, lift that right leg back and up. We're gonna bend the knee and twist again this time. If you want to flip over, slowly take your foot down, lift your head up, lift your hips up. And then inhale, back around to one leg dog. Some of you are waiting for us there. Exhale, lunge your foot to the top of your mat. High crescent pose again. Rise up. And then on your exhale, hands to your heart, twist to the right. Bring your left arm across, rotate around. On your inhale, lift up and rotate around to warrior two. So you might have to set your feet a little farther apart. Find that warrior two. Take a breath in, exhale, reverse warrior. Inhale, lift back up. Exhale, triangle pose. Straighten the front leg, reach forward, fingertips touch down on a book, something that you've got. Maybe your fingers are on the floor. Bring your top arm alongside your ear. Find that length into your top side body. And then on an inhale, lift up, keep that front leg straight, reverse triangle pose, lean back. And then exhale, hands down to the mat, step back to one leg dog, right leg lifts back and up. One leg vinyasa is a possibility here. An option. We'll all meet in downward dog. Bring your feet to the top of your mat. Chair pose. Lower the hips down, lift up through the heart, and then blast off. Stand up tall, add a back bend here at the top. Inhale, back up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Move on to the second side. It starts with standing pigeon on the left leg. So bend the left leg a little bit, cross the right ankle over. Really work the muscles around the ankle, and then lower the hips down, draw the shoulders back. Okay, this is where we are. We'll move right from here into dancer. So push down into the left foot, stand up, take the right foot behind you, grab it behind you, take the left arm up. Breath in here as you exhale, bow forward, hinging at your hip, lifting the chest up, pushing the foot back behind you. And then land in a chair pose. Right foot meets the left foot. Maybe sit a little bit more, and then exhale, straighten the legs, fold over them. Inhale, lengthen out. I'll meet you in downward facing dog. Breath is the great connector of when we're high and when we're low, finding that santosha, that contentment, or that feeling of being okay with where we are. From downward dog, inhale, left leg back high behind you. Bend your knee and twist open. First option, stay right here with the twist. Just be with the twist. Second option, tighten up into the core so that when you tip over, it's controlled. And then take your head back, open your heart up. Yeah. Inhale, back around to one leg dog. Exhale, lunge your left foot to the top of your mat. High crescent pose again. Rising up. Back bending here at the top. Inhale, lift back up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Twist to the left. Bring your right arm across. Rotate around. Maybe your back loves this. And can you be okay with that without thinking, oh, if a little twist is good, a lot is better. Just be good with where you are. And then inhale up and around to warrior two. Settle into that warrior two. Breath in, reverse warrior. Inhale, lift back up. Straighten the front leg. Triangle pose, lean out, bring your fingertips down onto something. You don't want your hand just to float. Maybe you have some sort of prop you can put your hand on or fingers on the ground. Roll your top shoulder back. Take your head back a little bit. And then as you inhale, lift up. Front leg stays straight for reverse triangle pose. Inhale, back up. Exhale, hands touch down at the front, one leg dog, left leg lifts for a one leg vinyasa here. Bring your feet to the top of your mat. Chair pose, lower your hips down. Lift through your chest and then push into the feet. Stand all the way up. Add a back bend at the top, maybe supporting your head with your hands behind your head. Inhale, back up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Now we move on. We let go of whatever happened and we're okay with where we are now. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, float down. Inhale, stretch out. Downward dog is our meeting place. You can add a vinyasa in or just step back to downward dog. Okay, front downward dog. Inhale, right leg backing up behind you. 3 times knee to nose. Exhale, knee comes forward. Inhale, stretch it back and up. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, back and up. 3rd time, hug it in, keep it in. Plant your foot at the top of your mat. High crescent pose again. Sweep the arms up. Turn your palms out to the sides. And as you exhale, circle the hands down by your hips and come forward into airplane pose. Breath in here. As you exhale, step back to high crescent pose. Try to lightly put the foot down at the back of the mat, arms up overhead. Exhale, circle the arms out. Press forward into airplane pose. Exhale, step back to high crescent, arms up overhead. One more time, circle the arms out. Breath in, exhale, high crescent, airplane pose here. Nice and steady. And then gently step back, high crescent pose. Spin the back heel down, open up to warrior two. For warrior two, side angle pose. Any variation, forearm on the thigh or fingertips on the ground or a block. Top arm over your ear. Let's see if we can turn this side angle pose into a back bend. Draw your left shoulder back, take your head back, open up a little bit here. And then as you exhale, hands down on the inside of the front leg. Lift the back heel up. Walk your hands over to the left. So the left hand, probably the right hand will be off the mat. Back knee stays lifted. Take a breath in. As you exhale, bend the elbows, lower down. As you inhale, straighten the arms. 2 more of those. Exhale, bend the elbows, get low. Inhale, straighten the arms, lift up. Last time, lower down. Inhale, lift up. You're going to keep that left hand where it is. Take the right arm up into the air. So you're twisting open here. Take your head back, open up. And then exhale, hand back down at the front of the mat. Bring your hands to either side of the front leg. Step back, one leg dog. Lift that right leg high. One leg flow, two leg flow. Maybe a child's pose is in order for you here. Okay, from downward dog, inhale, left leg, back and up behind you. 3 times, knee to nose. On your exhale, pull in. Inhale, reach back and up. Exhale, pull in. Inhale, up. As you exhale, pull in and then plant your foot at the front of your mat. High crescent pose. Inhale, lift up. Turn the palms to face out to the sides. As you exhale, sweep your arms out wide. When your hands get to your hips, take a breath in. Exhale brings you forward to airplane pose. Step the foot back down to the mat. Take the arms up, high crescent. 2 more of those. Exhale, circle out. Take a breath in. Exhale, airplane. Lift back up through the arms. Last time, exhale, circle the arms out. 1 breath in, exhale, airplane pose. And then back up to high crescent. Take a breath in here. As you exhale, open out to warrior 2. 1 breath in, side angle pose. Elbow to thigh or fingertips to the ground. Maybe turn it into a little bit more of a back bend. Oh yeah, looks good. Roll that shoulder back. And then as you exhale, bring that top arm down, both arms on the inside of your front leg. You'll walk the hands off to the right. Take a breath in. As you exhale, bend your elbows lower. As you inhale, straighten the arms. 2 more. Exhale, go low. Inhale, lift up. Notice if you like being low or high. So keep both arms straight. Really press down into that right hand. Take the left arm out to the left and up. Roll your shoulder back. Open up across the chest. Make it be a little bit of a back bend. And then exhale, hands back down to the ground, either side of the front leg. Step back, 1 leg dog. Left leg lifts back and up behind you. 1 leg vinyasa. We'll meet in a child's pose. If you take the flow, take yourself to child's pose when you're done. If you're skipping the flow, just lower your body back down. Take a moment here to fold into yourself, to get closer to the earth. To be okay with how things are now in this moment. All right, make your way up to downward facing dog. Bring your feet to the top of your mat. Fold over those legs. And then inhale, lift up, touch your palms. Exhale, hands to your heart. So here we're going to work on revolved crow pose. So we'll go through the steps and see how we get into the pose. It starts with a chair pose. So lower your hips down. We're going to twist to the right first. So we'll all do this together. Exhale, hands to your heart. Twist to the right, so bring that left arm across. Next step is to get the hands on the ground. So you straighten the arms, you keep the twist, straighten the arms, bend the knees enough to get your hands on the ground. If that's not happening for you, you stay in the chair pose with the twist. If your hands are on the ground, look out in front of you and bend your elbows, leaning forward, taking your chest forward, lifting one or both feet off the ground. 1 foot counts, both feet count. Good. This is how things are now. We're okay with it. Lower your feet back down, lift back up, stand all the way up. Bring your hands to your heart. Santosha is what we're practicing today. Being content or being okay with how things are now. We're acknowledging how they are. It doesn't mean we accept that they will always be this way. Chair pose. Lower your hips down, lift your arms up. On an exhale, bring your hands to your heart and twist around to the left. So bring that right elbow across. The twist here is really key to getting the revolved crow pose. So work that twist. Take a breath in. As you exhale, straighten your arms. So you're reaching the hands down to the ground. I have to bend my knees a lot to get my hands down. And then look out in front of you, not between your hands. Look forward, bend the elbows, lean forward. Pick up 1 foot. Maybe both feet lift up. Fantastic. Good. And then feet back down to the ground. Let's stand all the way back up. Okay, so right up at the top of the mat, we're going to come down to a seat. It's going to be a double toe sit. I'll show you what it looks like, and then we can do it together. So we're going to do it more slowly, but this is the double toe sit. This is not going to work for everybody's ankles or knees. If this doesn't work for you, you're going to come and stretch your legs out in front. If you want to come with me in the slow descent, take your arms up, keep your gaze out in front, big breath in. As you exhale, bend the knees. At some point, your heels will want to lift off the ground, and you come down here. Now, widen the knees out and bring your hands down to the ground. If you are already seated, you're going to take cobbler's pose, soles of the feet together, knees wide, and bow forward. If you're still on the toes with the knees wide, walk the hands forward, fold down. First option is to stay right here. Second option is to have your upper arms on the insides of your legs and take your hands back around your ankles to bind there, and then fold forward a little bit more. Forehead getting closer to the ground, maybe touching. If you're already seated, you're in that bound cobbler's pose, bowing forward. Good. If you're still in the double toe sit, release your hands from around behind the backs of your feet. And now we're going to sit. Take the hips down to the ground. We'll all stretch the legs out in front and then bounce the knees out a few times here. Get that circulation going again. We'll take a wide leg stance here. So face whatever direction works for you. Open the legs out wide. Bring your hands to the middle for support. Take a breath in here, and then as you exhale, think about rotating the top of the pelvis forward and the bottom of the pelvis back. So instead of caving in here in the front, you're reaching forward through the front body, walking the hands out, lowering down. And again, I know for some of you, this is a really comforting pose. It feels fantastic. And instead of thinking, oh, if I could just get a little lower, the pose would be better, maybe not. Maybe you say, okay, this is where I am now. And I know for some of you, this pose is rough. So try to say to yourself and try to believe, okay, this is where I am now. This is how things are now. Couple more breaths right here. And then start to walk your hands back, lifting your torso up. So we're going to keep stretching out these side bodies with a side bend. So take your right hand over towards your left leg. I like to tuck my palm just underneath my left leg. And then I'm going to try to put my right shoulder on the ground in front of my leg. May not happen, but you lean over to the side and then swing that left arm up and over. So we're trying to get the side bend more than we are the forward bend. So think about pulling that left side body back. Some of you will be able to grab your foot. Grabbing the right foot is not the point of the pose. The point is to get that length through your side. So if you grab your foot and you're forward folding, you're kind of missing that beautiful side bend here. If your hand's in the air, that's just great. Just pull the shoulder back. And then we use an inhale to lift up from the pose. And then we go to the second side. Take your left hand over towards the inner right leg. I like to put my palm right under the leg. That may or may not work for you. Take a breath in. As you exhale, take your left shoulder down to the inside of the left leg, if you can get it on the inside. Swing the right arm over your head. So the palm is over your ear, working on pulling the ribs back. Maybe you grab your foot. Grabbing the foot just gives you a bind that you can pull against a little bit, but if you don't get your foot, you're still getting that length through your side body. Practicing saying okay, being okay in this pose. One more exhale here. And then as you inhale, lift back up. Take your hands to your inner knees. Pull the knees back. Bring the soles of the feet together. So some of you have already done this pose. We're going to do 3 versions of this pose together now. So I like to take my hands to the bottom of the shin. Some of you like to grab the feet. Feet is fine as long as you're not sickling into your outer ankle. Inhale, sit up tall, and as you exhale, bring your chest forward, folding over your feet. This is a tough one for me, so it's a great opportunity for me to practice Santosha. Doesn't mean that I accept that this is where I'll always be in this pose, but that I acknowledge that this is where I am now, and I'm okay with that. Inhale, lift up. You're going to keep the soles of the feet together, but take them a little bit farther out, a little bit farther away. Again, grab on where you can, stretch the chest up, and as you exhale, bow forward. Think about taking your forehead down to your feet. May or may not happen. Notice how this pose has changed by taking the feet a little farther forward. Maybe you feel it a little less in the hips, outer hips and inner thighs, maybe a little bit more across the low back. And then inhale, lift up. For our final version, we're going to bring the legs into a horseshoe shape. This is actually called Omega pose because you're making the shape of the Greek letter Omega. So your toes turn straight out to the sides. Bring your arms down on the insides of your legs and then take your hands underneath your shins. See if you can grab with your hands the outer edges of your feet. Here, see if you can bring the chest a little bit forward, take a breath in, and then as you exhale, bow forward. And create some tension between your feet and your hands. Feet are pushing into the hands are pulling the feet back. You should get a nice stretch across your low back here. And then inhale, lift back up, straighten out those legs, shake them out a little bit. And we'll go into a couple of back bends. We're gonna do our back bends with our legs in that figure 4 shape or that pigeon shape. So let's get a little prep before we do that. Keep your right leg straight. Cross the left ankle above the right knee. Take your hands behind you. You can lean back into those hands a little bit so you can get the right foot on the floor. Now we try to close the gap between the chest and the left leg and between the right hip and the right foot. So closing that gap however you can. And then start to walk your hips back, straighten out the right leg, straighten out the left leg, and we'll take the second side. So the left leg stays straight for now. Cross the right ankle over, take your hands behind so you can lean back into them. Bend your left knee until the sole of your left foot is on the floor. And this might be plenty. You might not need to close a gap at all. But if you want a little bit more, think about bringing your chest closer to your shin and also your foot and hip, left foot and hip closer to one another. Stay with deep breaths here. And then exhale, let it go, unwind the legs, stretch them out. And now we'll come onto our back. So the back bends that we're going to do are bridge poses with the legs in that figure 4. So come down onto your back, hands by your sides. You'll keep the right foot where it is, cross the left ankle over the right knee. Take a breath in here. As you exhale, push down into your right foot. Lift your hips up, maybe interlace your hands underneath you, maybe walk the shoulders underneath you a little bit more. Try to lift the hips a little bit higher here. Keep pressing the back of your head into the floor. Try to draw your outer left knee down towards the floor. One more breath in here, and then as you exhale, let the pose go. Release the hands, lower the hips down, lower the left foot down. Take a moment here just to be in your body, noticing how that bridge pose variation felt for you. And now let's take the second side. So this time, left foot will stay on the ground. Cross the right ankle above the left knee. Arms press into the earth. Left foot presses into the earth. Back of the head presses down. Deep breath in. And then as you exhale, lift your hips. If you can, interlace your fingers underneath. If you can't, roll your palms up towards the ceiling. Squeeze between the shoulder blades. Try to get the chest to lift a little bit more. Maybe if your hands are interlaced, you pull the shoulders in under you, lifting through the hips, lowering the outer right knee down towards the ground. One more deep breath in here, and then exhale, let the pose go. Release the hips down. And then bring your feet as wide as your mat is. So knees are bent, feet as wide as the mat is. Bring your arms to a T. As you exhale, take both knees one direction. Inhale to lift them up. Exhale takes them to the other direction. And keep going back and forth, releasing a muscle tightness and holding in your back that you needed to take you into those poses, into those back bends. All right, bring your knees upright, hug your knees into your chest. If it feels good, rock side to side or to and fro, massaging your back muscles as you move across them. And then a happy baby pose. Grab the feet, widen the legs out, draw the knees down towards the earth. Again, you want that tension between your hands and your feet. Feet push up into the hands, hands pull the feet down. That tension there will create a greater opening through your outer hips and low back. And then on and exhale, let it go. If there's some finishing poses that you like, take those. Otherwise, we are moving right into Shavasana, so you can cover up as you like. If you're following along with the playlist, we should be at or around the last song. It's called Opening. Once you've settled into a pose, we'll take a few breaths together here. So these are deep cleansing breaths. Big inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. Big inhale, full exhale, full release, full letting go. And then last one, make it your deepest breath of the practice, really pulling all that energy in, and then on and exhale, letting it all go, letting it all out. And even here, we practice santosha, contentment, or saying, okay, it's like this now. Start making your breath a little bit longer, a little bit deeper, a little fuller. And with these deeper breaths, begin moving your body. So a gentle reawakening here by moving your fingers and your toes. Take any full body stretch that feels right for you. And on an exhale, roll to your side. Take a moment to once again practice Santosha here. And then on an exhale, come up to a seat and bring your hands to your heart. I hope as you go through your day, you're able to find this practice of use to you, this practice of being okay, of acknowledging where you are. It gives you a strong platform from which you can begin to appreciate where you are, or from where you can begin to appreciate where you are and feel the inspiration to change. Namaste. Thanks, everybody. Oh, I like to end this practice by acknowledging all of the people who are working to keep us safe, to keep us healthy, to keep us stocked with food and whatever else we need. So please take some time throughout your day just to offer up your own way of gratitude to all these people who are working hard during this time, also all the people who are sick and need our energy to help uplift them.